Suki Utu and a very good morning, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Welcome once again to the weekly Sunday Pūjā in Unison and Dhamma sharing online, an initiative of Theravada Buddhist Council of Malaysia and is hosted by MSBS and DBV. It's certainly good to see all of you once again on this online platform. Today is the 8th of September 2024. So back with us this week, we have Bro Tan Leng Huat to continue on the subject on I Love Chanting, Part 2. Over to you, Bro Tan Leng Huat.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Let us pay homage to the Buddha before I start. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, I've covered on that last week. We spoke about what it is Namo tassa all about. Yeah, I just give you the to get ready to compose ourselves, to be ready for our puja, we said last week, isn't it? We have covered about restraints in Panchasila last week. Last week, we stressed the importance of restraint. And for me, this Panchasila is not in the form of commandments or suppression or denial or severe restriction. It is my form of spiritual development, as in the context of Buddhism. Self-restraint, we say, self-restraint entails a balanced approach to sensory experience. Yeah, we must have a balanced approach and avoiding excessive indulgence and repulsion. Sometimes we simply indulge in too much things. Sometimes we simply say, no, this cannot. This is restricted in Buddhism. That's called the excessive repulsion. Okay? So the sense of restraint actually lies in the cultivation of awareness and mindfulness. Yeah? So we become more aware, we become more mindful as we cultivate the sense of restraint. Okay, as in the Janosanin Sutta, in the Janosanin Sutta, Brahmin asked the Buddha, how do we observe the Upasaka day? So the Buddha also briefly, not briefly, but I'm telling you it briefly now, by developing a heightened sense of consciousness towards sensory stimuli. That's what it's all about, The Buddha said, on Upasaka day, we must heighten this consciousness towards sensory stimuli. Practitioners can discern between wholesome and unwholesome mental states. It's all about mental states, okay? So that's what we are saying. It's all about cultivation. So whatever we do, as long as it's good cultivation, you continue life. Right? So in this action of good form, in the present or in the future life, then the answer is no. And then avoid it. The Buddha says that. If you do something, is killing good for you in this life? The answer, then the Brahmin says no. Is it good for your future life? He says no. So refrain from doing that. That's all. Correct. So through this mindfulness practice, such as meditation or chanting or reflection, individuals gain insight into the transient nature of sensory pleasures, fostering a deeper understanding of impermanent nature of existence. We must eventually realize the impermanent nature of existence. The sabbe sankhara anicca. Yep. So contrary to conventional notions of restraint as an act, contrary to the notions, you see, we always think that restraint is about, okay, yes, it is about willpower, yes, we agree, yeah. But we more emphasize on the cultivation of wisdom in exercising right restraint. This restraint is not about sheer. You see, those days they used to do atta kila matanu yoga, self-mortification. That is willpower also actually, but that willpower does not lead you to wisdom, you know. So this kind of restraint, this kind of willpower is no use lah. So better you emphasize on the cultivation of wisdom lah, in exercising that restraint. So that's what it's all about lah. We exercise this restraint, and then we cultivate our wisdom. That was what we covered last week actually. Rather than forcefully suppressing desires. We forcefully suppress all this, we say, all this. So individuals employ discernment and insight to navigate the complexity of sensory perception. Correct? By discerning the impermanent and unsatisfactory nature of worldly phenomena, practitioners gradually loosen the grip of attachment and craving. Okay, paving way for genuine freedom and happiness. So that's all about. So remember, last week we have covered this. We say that our Panchasila is about self-restraint, and the self-restraint is about us eventually discerning the value of impermanence and the unsatisfactory nature of this worldly phenomena. So eventually, when we understand things are impermanent, and this unsatisfactory nature are also in this kind of unsatisfactory nature of worldly things. So what do? We will gradually realize and give up this attachment. We give up this attachment when we realize we realize all things are impermanent and all things are unsatisfactory towards the end. Whether you like it or not, whatever is happy today will end up being unhappy tomorrow. Or towards the end. So we have completed that as a summary of what we have covered last week on the taking refuge in the Buddha and to renew our Panchasila. Yep. Okay. Then after that, what do we do in our what did we chanted this morning? We chant the Buddha Vandana. This morning, after we have done our Panchasila, then we chant the Buddha Vandana. So Buddha Vandana is actually chanted by Chukan, I think, this morning, isn't it? So it's Itipiso Bhagava Araham Samma Sambuddho Vidya Charana Sampanno Sugato Loka Vidu Anuttaro Purusa Dhamma Sarati Satta Deva Manussanam Buddho Bhagavati. So what does this mean when we chant this Buddha Vandana? In the Jaga Sutta, the Buddha says that this is very important, When you have fear or hair standing on ends, so you must reflect on the qualities of the Buddha. That's what the Buddha said in the Jaga Sutta. Don't look at the values of the other gods in the Tawa things of heaven. The Buddha says, because all these gods still have the nature of the greed, the hatred, and delusion. They are still, they have not given up everything. They are not an arahant yet. Because, so that's why the Buddha says to be more comfortable when you are feeling uncomfortable. Okay, when you feel that there's something that's disturbing you, chant the values of the 9 qualities of the Buddha. Which goes like that, Arahang Samma Sambuddho, Itipiso Bhagava Arahang Samma Sambuddho, Vidya Charana Sampanno, Sugato Loka Vidu, Anuttaro Purisa Dhamma Sarati, Satta Deva Manussanam Buddho Bhagavati. These are the 9 qualities. Which are the 9 qualities? Arahang. First quality is he's an Arahang, meaning to say that he's an Arahat in Pali, or Arahant, which is called the worthy one, meaning that, okay, I will come to define the meaning a little bit deeper later, but okay, on this part, you say Arahant means the worthy one. He's the worthy one. Then Samma Sambuddho see, Itipiso Bhagava, this is the Bhagava, who is an Arahant. He's a Samma Sambuddho. He's the fully enlightened one. He's the Vijacharana Sampanno. His knowledge is full of knowledge and conduct is exemplary. He's a Sugato. Then after that, Sugato means he's a great speaker. He knows when to speak. Or sometimes people interpret that as does not one has completed his training and he has gone through, has gone to the other shore. Okay, can be done that way also. Or can say that he's a great speaker. He's a local vidu, he's a knower of the worlds. So we use the word worlds here. Although in the English form, there's no such thing as worlds, there's only one world. But in the Buddhist context, there are many worlds. Yeah, don't forget, we have many worlds, so we should know of the worlds. Although grammatically English will say there mana ada worlds itu, must be world only. But yes, because we believe that. Okay? In the Buddhist context, there are worlds. Okay. Then he's also Anuttara Purisa Dhamma Sarati, meaning he's the best teacher who can bring about, who can bring the wayward back to the fold. Okay, we'll go into that later a bit. He's a Satta Deva Manusana. He's the teacher of gods and men. Okay, he's the Buddha. That means he knows the Four Noble Truths, and he's the Bhagava, endowed with special powers. So we'll go a bit into the definition of Arahang. Arahang means, Itipiso Bhagava, Arahang. Arahang means he's a worthy one, accomplished, perfect, and worthy of homage. You want to pay homage, you pay homage to him, and he is one. Arahant means he has completely overcome the three poisons, meaning to say that he has overcome greed, he has overcome hatred, he is no more deluded. Okay, and that is our target today. We hope that through the teachings and training and restraint taught by the Buddha, we will eventually give up, eventually overcome these three poisons in our life, which is greed, hatred, and delusion. Then you automatically become an Arahant. Okay, meaning to say that you have overcome your enemies. Which enemy? The enemy of Nibbana. And we want to go to Nibbana actually, but this greed, hatred, and delusion is always stopping us. And this is the enemy there. They don't want us to go there. I don't know why. So we must overcome this enemy of ours. With them there, always standing at the gate there. Every time we want to cross over, they tell you no. So this is what we have to train ourselves to overcome this greed that we have. This wanting more and more. And then not getting. We hate people. We hate that situation. And then what happens? We become deluded. We think that this thing brings you permanent happiness. We don't realize that actually all these things in the world are impermanent. So it is very important now to train ourselves to realize impermanence so that you eventually will overcome your greed, hatred, delusion. So this is what we're talking about. And just on the side track, we say that what is this Nibbana all about? I've said it before, Buddhism is the only religion that we can experience our ultimate heaven, that is Nibbana. We call it ultimate heaven. Anyway, it is not a place, don't worry, but we're not coming to that. But okay, for today's discussion, we just say that there are two kinds of Nibbana. You die, you experience Nibbana. But Buddhism is the only religion that says that when you're alive, you can still experience Nibbana. Because when you become an Arahant, you have given up greed, hatred, and delusion. You are living in Nibbana in that sense. You are living peacefully with no more all this attachment and all this greed, no more this hatred, no more this kind of delusion. And that is the state of Nibbana. That's Nibbanic state. Okay? Okay, so then we say it's a Sama Sambuddho. Why is he Sama Sambuddho? Because he is the fully enlightened one without any aid or from any teacher. He became enlightened not through the teachings of another teacher. He had two teachers before in his life, Alara Kalama and Udaka Ramaputta, remember? But they only brought him to the Arupa realm. He's not happy. He has not overcome. His idea is to overcome suffering. So that's why in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, how do we say this? How do you know that he doesn't have any teacher? You can say that in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta also he says that idang dukkang arya satchanti me bhikkave puppe ananussute sudhammesu. This Dhamma has never been heard before. Cakung udapadi akupe ananussute sudhammesu. You can quote that if you want. That means the Dhamma has not been heard before, meaning he has not heard it from people. Neither can you hear it from any other person. He is the one who founded this. Huh? So it's called Cakung udapadi, Jnanang udapadi, Panya udapadi, Vicca udapadi, Aloko udapadi. Light arose in him, brightness arose in him. That is, so that's what the Buddha says, okay? Meaning this suffering is a noble truth that arose in me amongst concerning things never heard before, such as the vision, the knowledge, the wisdom, the science, and the light. Okay? You can also quote, if you like, Arya Pariyesana Sutta. It says, "Na me acharya atti," a teacher I have not. Remember, there was an ascetic, the naked ascetic who came to ask him all those things. Where are you from? Who's your teacher? They said, "The teacher I have not." Na me acharya atti. Teacher I have not. Okay? So that is the meaning of Samma Sambuddhassa. Okay? Samma Sambuddho, he's a Samma Sambuddho. Then after that we say he's a Vijja Charana Sampanno, meaning his knowledge and conduct and theory of practice is exemplary. Remember I say his exemplary conduct, meaning he is the kind of person who tells you something in front of you and repeats the same thing behind you. He doesn't say things to please you and behind you he says something else. No. That is not the kind of quality of the Buddha. That's why we call him that his knowledge and his conduct is exemplary. Yep. His knowledge and conduct is exemplary, and is one of the beautiful aspirations we can take from. So his conduct is exemplary. He doesn't say something to please you. Don't worry, he doesn't tell you something, and then behind you he says something else about you. No, he is not like that. So that means to say that he's Vijja, he has completed all his knowledge. Sometimes we can also say that he has understood the TBCM, the three knowledge of the previous lives and existence, knowledge of karma and rebirth, and knowledge of the Four Noble Truth. And the Charana means totally virtuous conduct. Virtuous conduct. He says completely virtue. Remember, virtuous. He's completely virtuous, and he has a complete restraint in the six sense faculties. Okay, he does not follow his eyes, does not follow his ears, does not follow his feeling, does not follow his taste, neither follow his mind. No. So he has complete restraint of his six sense faculties. Okay. Okay, then also he's known as a Sugato, okay? Then sometimes we also say that, okay, to continue, Vijja Charana Sampanno Sugato. What is Sugato? Sugato here I define as he is a great speaker who's adopted the art of choosing the right words, saying things at the right time. This way we have to cultivate ourselves in such a way that will benefit the listener. Okay? He's not that kind who'll tell you something that's going to break up your friendship, that's going to break up your family, that's going to break up your community. If the Buddha doesn't do that, he's very careful in what he tells you. Okay? So remember, Musawada is also like that. Be very careful with what you say. Not saying things that will break up a family, that will break up a relationship, that will create disharmony in society. Don't say such things. It doesn't benefit in short. So that's why we say he's a Sugato. He is a great speaker. He knows to say things at the right time. Okay, so that's why we say that he's a Sugato. The Buddha was the master of that. See, one day also Satchaka also challenged him to a debate. Satchaka was a very, very well-known speaker then, a Brahmin, a very well-known speaker. And he says he can smash anybody who comes along his way to challenge him. He wants to have a debate with anybody. Then eventually he also said that he can challenge the Buddha also. Then the Buddha came to see him and they had a debate and he kowtowed to the Buddha. He lost to the Buddha. The details you can read through later. You can refer this to the Jaya Mangala Gatha. So one of his achievement of the Buddha is that he overcome, he defeated Satchakra. Satchakra. Okay. So meaning sometimes they also say the Sugato is a last gone one. That means he has crossed to the other banks already, like he's become the Buddha. Okay, you can mean that also if you like, or we don't say we not. So it's also good to translate. Sometimes they say that das gone one, das is gone through the many. So many people translate that as a path of Majjhima Patipada. He has completed this. He has completed and understood the Majjhima Patipada has been crossed over to the other shore. He has avoided the two extremes and all those things. Also can be applied lah. Although we use here also as a speaker, he's a good speaker also, because he uses very good similes and parables. The Buddha uses similes and parables to convince people, to let people understand, not be convinced. Sometimes it's quite difficult to understand things. So the Buddha uses similes. Example, when the Buddha was trying to explain or convert the Kassapa brothers. Remember, the Kassapa brothers, the Buddha taught them the Aditya Pariyaya Sutta, all in flames. Wow. Why? Because they were fire worshippers. So they were fire worshippers. So the Buddha says it is better to use fire simile and say all is burning. So they say, what do you mean by all is burning? All became excited. They want to listen for all burning. Then he says your desire inside you is burning. That is a problem we have. Our desire is burning. Our wanting more and more and more is burning. Our greed is burning. So our feelings are burning. So this is what the Buddha taught them. Then they realized, so the Buddha uses fire as a simile, and it was very effective. He managed to convert all of them. And also sometimes the Buddha spoke to Venerable Sona, also was formerly a musician, So he tried very hard to practice and then he did not succeed all the time. He became so frustrated that he told the Buddha, I'm going to disrobe. He says, I've done enough already. I tried my level best, I cannot succeed. Then the Buddha said, okay, fine, you didn't succeed, never mind. So the Buddha asked him, what was your profession before? I was a musician. The Buddha says, good. So when you have your pipa, or the guitar, we call it today, the musical instrument, the pipa, if your string is too tight, what happens? Because the Buddha knows he's a musician, so the Buddha asked him like that. So when you use your pipa, ting, ting, tong, tong, ting, ting, tong, tong, what happens when the thing is too tight? The string will burst. Okay. Then what happens if the string is a bit loose? Then it's boom, 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 boom. No sound, Bande, is it? No tune. No tune, it will not be in tune. So the Buddha says, so what do you have to do? You need to the correct tension, not too tight, not too loose, isn't it? Then Sona realized, yes, in his practice also, that what we say, don't be too stringent in your practice. Don't be too loose in your practice. Follow the middle way, Majjhima Patipada. Remember? The Majjhima Patipada. Remember? So you must remember. So the Buddha says, what will happen? They say, then you realize. Then the Buddha says, yes, you know that your string, the guitar string, must not be too tight. If it's too tight, what happens? It will burst. What happens if it's too loose? Then you don't make any music, isn't it? So that means the Buddha says, don't be too stringent in your practice. And don't be too loose in your practice. Avoid too excessive indulgence or repulsion. Don't be too indulged. Neither can you must be completely avoiding lah. So it is a form of spiritual development, sense restraint that entails a balanced approach to your sensory experience. That's what the Buddha says. Then he realized. He realized that he was practicing too hard and too stringently. Then he went back. Then he did not disrobe. He understood the message. So the Buddha's way of teaching, you see, that's why we call him a Sugato. His way of teaching is so different. He uses similes and that you can understand very clearly. Suddenly, Sona realized. So Sona did not, and went to practice, and he was enlightened. He became an arahant. You see, so this is how the Buddha teaches, very simple way, very simple way, and then but very effective, very, very effective. So we call him a Sugato. Yeah. So that is one of these nice ideas that we can follow, So also remember, he's a Loka Vidu. Number 5, Sugato Loka Vidu. Loka Vidu means the one who knows about the world, or we say the knower of the world. So why he knows all the world system actually. Although it's not necessary for us to know this for enlightenment, the Buddha did not want to teach us all this because you're wasting too much time to learn things that doesn't help you in your spiritual progress. Okay. Also, sometimes if you want, you can say that the Buddha also is talking about the 6 worlds. Correct? Your 6 sense world. Remember, the world of seeing, the world of hearing, the world of smelling, the world of tasting, the world of touching, and of course, the world of thinking. So these six world, this 6 sense world also can be applicable for this case. If you don't want to believe in all these other worlds that happen in the universe, then we say that the Buddha is talking about the 6 sense world. The Buddha knows all about seeing world. What happens when you see your consciousness, you object, eye contact, consciousness, what happens? Right? Not careful, you don't restrain, you get carried away with what you see. You're not careful, you get carried away with what you hear. What masuk sini, keluar in the mouth. What you hear, true or not true, keluar juga. What for? So that's why you have to restrain. Otherwise, what you hear, you just continue to gossip. Correct? So that's what the Buddha says. And the world of touching, that means the world of feeling. Correct? We like so much of these pleasures and all those things. So we go all out, kill, steal, murder, just to get that sense, just to get that bodily pleasures. We do that, and the touching pleasures. And also last but not least, the thinking world, the thinking pleasures. That's why we say it's all about the mind. So there's no other world than the 6th world. The Buddha said that the 6 sense world are the one that is causing trouble. We must learn to control them. Okay, so that is also another formula. You can explain that the Buddha knows. The Buddha knows about all this world system in the universe. All the Buddha also focuses on this 6 sense world that we can understand today. Because the talking about the other planet doesn't help you in your spiritual progress at the moment. So so the Buddha doesn't want to focus on that. So when you can control this 6 sense world, you are in harmony with the world, correct? Then when only you know about it and live accordingly to accept it. So we know this is all about my seeing only. My seeing is giving me a lot of problem. My perception is giving me a lot of problem. My hearing is giving me a lot of problem. So we just keep away from the crowd. We know that the crowd talk, but doesn't do. What for? So we keep away from the crowd. So that's how we cultivate ourselves. When there's a gossiping crowd, keep away from the gossiping crowd. When the crowd who dreams a lot, thinking of all kinds of things, we also keep away from these kind of things. So that is what the Buddha knows. So the Buddha says, you must keep away from this. Okay? You can also say that the Buddha knows the 31 planes of existence also. That's also part of the world. And what do you mean by the world? Because the 31 planes of existence, sometimes we divide into 4 worlds. The unfortunate world, that is the four woeful state, and of course the Kamaloka, that's where the human and the Deva realm is, and the fine material world, that's the Brahma realm, and also the Arupa realm. So the Buddha also knows about this completely. So this is what you mean by loka vidu, okay? And then we say that the Buddha is anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati, meaning to say that the Buddha is the best teacher, you know. He can teach you correctly, like we say, use parables and all those things, and he can bring the wayward back into the fold. And this is the best example he can give you are actually Angulimala, who was a serial killer. The Buddha can also talk to him and transform him, and eventually he became an arahant. So the Buddha is Anuttaro Purisa Dhamma Sarati. He is the best teacher who can bring the wayward back into the fold. And also don't forget, now you can also say that he can bring, because his 5 friends who were practicing for so many years with him also actually got very disheartened with him, left him, and then went to practice on their own. Now the Buddha can take them back. And then they followed the Buddha eventually. So that's why the Buddha, we say, is the best teacher in the world. And there are many other examples that I don't think my time will allow so much. Okay, so we will learn about this. Then, of course, is quality number 7. Purisa Dhamma Sarati Satta Deva Manussanam. Remember, Satta Deva Manussanam is the teacher of gods and men. He's the teacher of gods and men. Because he also went to Tavatimsa heaven to teach the Devas there, the gods and the Devas, including his mother there, the Abhidhamma. Okay? And also don't forget, Lord Saka many a times when they're confused, will send his Devas down to local realm, and then to ask the Buddha for clarification for all these things. Okay? So sometimes we do say that he is also there. Okay? So he's also known as the Satta Deva Manussanam. That means he is the teacher of gods and men. He has gone up to Tavatimsa heaven to teach the Devas there. Okay? And the gods there. Okay? And then also he's the teacher of men. You see, sometimes you see the Buddha is a wonderful, wonderful figure. You see, many religions will teach us only how to avoid hell and to be reborn in heaven. Okay, that's our target. Many people's target is to avoid to be reborn in the woeful state. Avoid to be reborn in the woeful state, and then target to be reborn in a nice plane, right? Go to heaven. But the Buddha is different. The Buddha teaches us beyond this heaven and beyond this woeful state, but target for us to end this samsaric cycle. So Buddhism is the only religion that teaches us to end this samsaric cycle, so that we don't want to be born and reborn. Today we are reborn in an unfortunate state. Tomorrow we go back to an unfortunate state. Next day we go back to an unfortunate state. Next day we go back. This cycle is called samsaric cycle. A good state, bad state, or what state, it's still temporary. Okay? Nothing is permanent there. So the Buddha is the only teacher in the world that teaches us to end this suffering. Okay? To end this suffering through the samsaric life. We don't want the samsaric life anymore. So that we go to a place that is permanent and no more born and reborn, no more birth for us. Okay? So that is the only religion that has that. So when we chant all this, we must reflect on all this. And then number 8, and Buddha, whenever we say Buddha, Buddha means he was a Brahmin. You see, Buddha means he's being humble. He doesn't say he's anybody big, anybody small. He says, I'm the Buddha. Remember, the Brahmin asked him once, are you a Deva, a very special being? Are you a Yaka or demon? Are you a Gandhava, a semi-divine being? Or are you a Manusa, human? The Buddha replied that I am the Buddha. Simple as that. Meaning to say that he is the person who knows the Four Noble Truths thoroughly and has understood the Four Noble Truths in the 3 aspects in the 12 modes. That's all. Completely understood. He knows, he has completely understood and put it to practice for realization. These are the 3 levels. Pariyati, Patipati, Patibheda. So he's the only person who knows that. Okay. So for the Blessed One was the arouser of the unrising on the unrisen path. Okay. So he is, so we call him the Buddha. And last we say is the Bhagava. Bhagava means the person endowed with special powers. The merits the Buddha has accumulated are so much more than others. And this is why he is so called a Bhagava. Bhagava. The merits are acts of sharing ethical, morality, patience, enunciation, wisdom, diligence, truthfulness, determination, loving kindness, and equanimity. Those are the 10 paramis. He has perfected the 10 paramis. Okay? He has perfected all this and then became a Buddha. So he is worthy of respect, homage, and offering. So these are the qualities of the Buddha that we chant. Remember. Try to remember some. We all read up again and try to remember when we chant. We must reflect this. Why? Then your faith will grow. Now, a question was asked to a 12-year-old kid one day in school. My wife was telling me that she was teaching this children under 12 in school. So ask which quality of the Buddha you wish to emulate, Well, we know all about the Buddha, they know life of the Buddha, we know his 9 qualities. So which quality of the Buddha you wish to emulate? And this, and this young little girl, 12-year-old girl, answered confidently, I want to emulate the courage and positive attitude of the Buddha, never accepting failures. Wow, that is very profound, isn't it? For a 12-year-old, no, for a 12-year-old, says she wants to emulate the courage and positive attitude of the Buddha, never accepting failures. Wow, what do you mean? Is it? So you refer, wow, this little girl knows quite a bit. You can also be referred back. What do you mean by want to emulate this courage and positive attitude, never accepting failure? Because if you know the story of Prince Siddhartha, he spent 6 long years to seek solution to overcome suffering. Right? And that courage he has. With no teacher to tell him that there's an assured success there. He has not been guaranteed there's assured success at the end of the road. No. Correct? But his mind was positive. He says he'll never accept, he'll not return until he's enlightened. He'll not arise from that seat under the Bodhi tree until he's enlightened. Meaning he'll never accept any failures. You see? So that's how she looked at it, the Buddha's quality. And she wants to be like that. Now, isn't that beautiful? So that came from a 12-year-old girl. So when my wife asked which quality you wish to emulate, he says, I want to emulate the courage and positive attitude of the Buddha, never accepting failure. So that's also we have to emulate. We must be like that when we do things. So in difficult situation where the Buddha had to handle Angulimala, the Buddha handled him also, The Buddha has the wisdom and the willpower to overcome all difficulties. The wisdom is important, not only willpower. Remember, I just covered that earlier. We said not only willpower was self-multiplication, no point, but the wisdom and the willpower important. In Buddhism, it's always Samma, right wisdom, right willpower. Correct? So it's Samma, virya, okay? That means right effort, right wisdom, and right willpower, correct? So we must emulate that, Contrary to the conventional notion of restraint, remember, we must not, contrary to the notion of restraint as an act of sheer willpower. I've covered that earlier. I told you, it's not about sheer willpower. Buddhism emphasizes the cultivation of wisdom in exercising the right restraint. Remember, correct? Rather than forcefully suppressing desires. Hungry also don't want to eat. Never mind, but must go through. Then you eventually end up you have a gastric macam-macam problem you have lah. So that is not wisdom like the Buddha says So not forcefully suppressing desires, so we must actually practice more insight, right? So we must individual employ discernment and insight to navigate the complexity of sensory perception. Correct? By discerning the impermanent and unsatisfactory nature of worldly phenomena, remember, practitioners gradually loosen the grip of attachment and craving, paving way for genuine freedom and happiness. Remember, we are always exercising with wisdom so that we will loosen our grip on our attachment. Okay? So now, I also want to emulate some of the qualities of the Buddha. And that's my purpose here to share with you all. And that is also number one that we must emulate. And also, I would like to emulate myself as a worthy friend, as a Kalyana Mita. Now, always ready to help other friends. Meaning, you see, what do you mean by being a good friend? The Buddha was a very good friend. Look up to that. That's why we must emulate these qualities in life. Now, we must be also. I also want to say that yes, we want to have his courage, his confidence, yes. Never accepting failure, yes. But also, we want to emulate his quality as a good friend, as a kalyana mita, always ready to help our friends. What does it mean? Good friends are one of the most important support systems that you can have in your life. Remember, correct? Some friends are meant to be comic relief only. Some are meant to be loyal companions. This is important, they're loyal companions. And some are meant to be people that you can call for a good time. Okay? But all friends are meant to be supportive, loving, and accepting. There are a lot of qualities that can make someone a good friend. But let us revisit the traits of the Buddha that are most important. When we evaluate our friendship and make sure these important attributes aren't missing. Number one, when we say that is the good Kalyanamitta, okay? When he was enlightened, we must remember like that, because when he was enlightened, first thing he wanted to teach was his two teachers who actually have passed away, but he thought of his five friends. Now, why is it important here? Many a times, if our friend have offended us, we will not want to be his friend anymore. That is one thing about us We will simpan lah dalam hati lah, itu Melayu cakap lah, simpan dalam hati lah. We will not want to be his friend anymore. Many of my friends, I've noticed that if somebody has stepped on their tail, they become enemies for life. They don't want to talk to him anymore. They don't want to be friends anymore. So this is what we have to let go, let going of this kind of grudge that we have, this kind of uncomfortable feeling that we have. So that's why when the Buddha was enlightened, he thought of his five friends. These five friends are the ones who abandoned him. Don't forget, these are the five friends who abandoned the Buddha when he started to eat a little bit, correct? So they abandoned him and said that he had given up, and they looked down on him already, until he went to see them also, they didn't want to entertain him until they saw a different image altogether, the aura of the Buddha. Then they entertained him. Otherwise, they refused, But the Buddha thought of these people first. So can we not emulate this quality so that we will forgive whatever friends have done or what? We must remain friends, remain faithful, be part of the support system because we need friends we need friends who are loyal, who can help each other, So we need this, okay? Friends who are supportive. So we must be supportive first, we must be loving first, we must be accepting also. We cannot ask people to do that when we ourselves are not doing that. So we make sure that we are also meant to be loyal companions. Don't worry, I'm a loyal friend. You can step on my tail today, tomorrow I will still visit you and we are still friends. That is the attitude you should have. That was the attitude the Buddha had. Remember, we showed it to you here. The Buddha went to share his first important message to his five friends who has abandoned him. Can we have that quality? Ask ourselves honestly. Sometimes kalau marah orang, marah habis lah. Tak mau jadi kawan lagi lah. Kalau sudah marah, marah habis. What for? Correct? Sometimes it is all in our mind, it's our perception that makes us marah, not because he's guilty. So remember, so let's forget that. So this is the quality of accepting gratefulness of his friendship. So we must accept that a true friend loves you for what you are. Right? They accept your flaws, they accept your imperfections, and they love you for that. Okay? They will, I'm not saying love you, but they will understand you for that. Right? A true friend is someone with whom you can have fun, and then you can have people around you for a moment, and you got no self-doubt with him, no confidence with him. So we must cultivate that friendship. So that's why we say that the Buddha is a good Kalyana Mitta. Correct? He has forgiven his 5 friends. Immediately, when he wants to have a good message, he look for his 5 friends. That is what he must do. Okay? Now, the next thing that friends are good, friends can be useful, and we have to be honest and dependable. Correct? Remember, we have to be honest, dependable, and respectful. Our friends should always be honest with each other. The occasions where lie to spare feelings can be acceptable. Sometimes we don't want to say things to hurt you in front of people. We have to refrain, okay, but if your friend isn't telling you the truth about things that are important to you, there could be a problem. Honesty is the foundation of a good friendship, remember. But don't be too honest to hurt his feelings in front of people. Sometimes you just keep quiet, better. But behind that, after that, we can explain to him that he's wrong. Correct? Because this honesty is the foundation of good friendship. A good friend is someone you can count on to be there for you when you need them. True friends are not only there in good times, but also in bad times, remember. So this I have to cultivate, and I learn about the Buddha, his qualities. I also want to become a good friend. So that's why, we have to be like that. We have to continue to teach whatever we can. We must be good friends to people. Okay. So so that's why we say that he's a Vijja Charana Sampanno, remember. A person he has the knowledge, correct? Now, I want to be a good friend. What little knowledge I have, I want to share with my friends. And then I must make sure that I practice that knowledge, and I must be truthful with my friends. So that is one of the quality I assimilate when I remember Vijja Charana Sampanno. That means I have the knowledge, I must have the conduct also. The Buddha has the knowledge, the Buddha has the conduct, and practice. Okay? So remember, we must also be like that. So we must remember, we must act and say what we say. We must act on what we say. Correct? In short, some people just know only, but they don't practice. So Buddhism is not about knowledge. Remember, many a time when I speak to many monks, they all tell me, don't worry about knowledge, practice. Yes, remember. So what we know, we must put to practice. In front of our friend, we say the same thing. Behind our friend, we say the same thing. And that is the quality of the Buddha. Okay, he's a Vijja Charana Sampanno. Right? Okay, so we must not be judgmental, and we must be thoughtful. Our friends don't judge each other. A friend is someone to whom you can show your new, less than totally tasteful. Sometimes you got very strange things we say to show others. But you dare to show to that friend. That is kind of friend you want to have. And that friend, when they see such thing, they mustn't laugh at you. Correct? So this is the way, we say non-judgmental and must be thoughtful. So we need to be a friend, you must be thoughtful and don't be judgmental around what this fellow practicing or singing. No, we shouldn't do that. We should not be judgmental. We should be thoughtful. So that is called Anuttara Purisa Dhamma Sarati. Remember, the Buddha is the best teacher who can bring things back. So you are a good friend. You must also learn to be a good teacher. When your friend goes the wrong way, pull him back. Correct. There are times, sometimes people do make small mistakes and they try to go a little bit off track. Pull him back. You are a friend. Don't laugh and talk about him. Oh, he's going the wrong way. The Buddha never did that. The Buddha went back to his 5 friends. The first thing he did, remember? So that is the quality that I want to share with you. The quality that we can assimilate, from the Buddha, that we can become a very good Kalyanamita. Become a good Kalyanamita, and that is the inspiration that I have. And that's why that is pushing me to continue to guide you all in chanting and to do Dhamma sharing whenever I have the opportunity. Because I want to emulate that quality, and I hope that may others there also, you will try to assimilate this quality and come in to share. Okay. Sunday is a very good platform for you. Sunday is a platform where we are all Kalyanamitas. We use this platform to do sharing, and then that is how we will improve ourselves. Okay, so that is the gist of what I want to share with you today, is about emulating the qualities of the Buddha. Of course, you want to be a Sammasam Buddha. Of course, you want to be an Arahant. The moment we start with being a friend first. Let us begin with being a good Kalyanamita, not selfish, ever willing to share. With that, I say thank you very much again for your time. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Over to you, Brother Terence.
Thank you very much, Bro Leng Huat, for today's sharing. Yeah, like the Buddha say, Kalamita is one of the most important things here. Okay, now let us dedicate those merits to all beings, whether they are seen or unseen. Akasata Chabummata Dewa Naga Mahedika Punyang Tamanumoditwa Chiram Rakkantu Loka Sasanang Ettawata Chamhehi Sampadang Punya Sampadang Sabbe Dewa Sabbe Bhuta Sabbe Satta Anumodantu Sabba Sampati Siddhya Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Aspirations. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yavani banapattiya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you everyone for watching. For other videos, please visit the links below. See you all again next week. Bye-bye for now.